It's November 14th. Now the 10th, you know, I wanted to give a little time, just a little extra time, more so for you guys to process and for me to process, I guess more so for me to process what was happening, what had gone on, what transpired, and where this was going. And, you know, I think going from, hey, I'm not watching the videos, to like, hey, I'm gonna keep going, to like where that looks like now and how that's gonna be achieved in the remaining time that we have, because we don't get a lot of time, girl. And my list isn't outrageous. It wasn't outrageous to begin with, and it's not like I started this and claimed it to be outrageous. What I said that it was exactly what it was. Things that made me nervous. Things that at the time when I started this didn't seem within my reach. And it's not that these things weren't within my reach, it was that they were gonna have to take a lot of work within my part to get. And it might not seem like these things were going to take a lot of work to some people, because to some people it wouldn't be a lot of work. But to somebody that, you know, feels like they hit rock bottom not that long ago, who felt like they just kept getting back up over and over and over again, to not hit rock bottom, but to take a step back, you know, taking a step back, or what feels like taking a step back, it hits a little harder. And, you know, looking ahead of myself, I made this list of things that I felt were bigger goals than what I felt at that time were achievable for myself that day, you know? And these goals were, and today these goals are achievable. That was the point of me making these goals, so that from that day to today, I had to do whatever it took to make it possible for me to make these goals possible. And I did that. You know, I did that. And to honor that, my goal is to try to finish this list and to track it, to show you guys that, and to hopefully capture what this is supposed to do. Because, you know, this has a purpose outside of just, you know, being a list that I complete and being able to pat myself on the back. This direction that I am setting myself towards, that I've never felt I had, it's really something I want to talk about today. And I want to start off by telling you two things. I had my Halloween party. It was very fun. It was very stressful. Hosting for, it wasn't that many people. A lot of people couldn't make it, which is fine, you know what I mean? I think it went better that a lot of people couldn't make it, because I think I would have been very overwhelmed. But the people that did make it, shout out to those people. I was very happy that everybody who could make it made it. Everybody who showed up was dressed up, and that tickled me. I was like, oh my god, everybody's so cool. I went as a Hellcat. Oof. Let's not get into it. Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cute to boot. And that made me think, I really want to commit to Camden's 3 adventures, and I wish that I had committed to 3 Camden adventures because he deserves it. And I don't want to rob him of 3 adventures, but I want to make up for those 3 adventures with one really good big one. I don't think I have the time to fit in 3. I don't think I'll have the funds to fit in 3. So I'm going to do 1. We're going to alter the list, like I've said before. If you're not happy about it, sorry. But I'm going to make it a good one, and he's going to love it, and we'll see. I'll figure it out. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been a little overwhelmed with a couple things. I've been able to start planning things, and I set dates to things, and that was a huge leap for me. But now that means I can start planning around those dates, and ooh, that's very exciting. Yeah, so let's talk about what's remaining on the list. Okay, so I have a 5K. I'm gonna be running that on December 14th. There's a 5K happening, and I haven't signed up for it yet. I am training for it. I was not consistent. I have not been consistent over this past year, and I have not even been running. I've been just walking, and I want to run the 5K. I don't want to walk the 5K. Hello, I'm a runner, girl. She's a track star. So I want to train to jog it at the very least, and I've been jogging. I'm up to jogging 2 miles right now, and I'm gonna work my, I think I've got like 4.5 weeks before it's time. So yeah, December 14th I will be jogging a 5K. An instrument I have decided on, which funny, I decided this separately, but I didn't notice that I did it. It was a coincidence. December 13th, day before I run a 5K, is the day that I'm going to set up to have a music lesson, my first music lesson. I will let you know what instrument I decided. I already know, but I'm not gonna tell you. Yeah, I'm gonna, obviously, I'm gonna talk to them whether it's pertinent or not that I get the instrument right away, because I don't even know music notes. I don't know how to read music. Do I need the instrument if I don't even know how to read them? Like, when am I gonna get to touch the music instrument? Ooh. You know what I mean? When am I gonna touch the instrument? It's gonna be a minute. So I think we're gonna start off with just learning how to read music. Sewing, I have it on there, and we've talked about this for some weird reason, because I am avoidant and I like to hide my passions. I didn't like to tell you about sewing, but I decided that on January 10th I'm going to pursue it. By January 10th, it's on there, January 10th. I have to figure out a sewing class, and you know what, it's just a sewing class. All I have to do is find a little sewing class to go and take a class and sew with some gals and misters and thems, you know. It could be fun. And for some reason it freaks me out. I'm telling you about it, freaks me out. Camden's Adventures, I want to do it by January 24th. It just gives me a little time to prep because like Christmas is right around the corner, and I'm not stressed about Christmas actually. I've already started shopping already. Like, yeah, I'm an early shopper. I'm an early everythinger. Except when I procrastinate because I'm stressed and avoidant. I'm gonna keep talking about how I'm avoidant because I read this book, which we're gonna get to. But I read Attached, The New Science of Adult Attachment and How It Can Help You Find Love and Keep Love. Which we'll tell you right now, spoiler alert, when I read the title of this book and decided to read it, I read Attached, The New Science of Adult Attachment. I did not read and How It Can Help You Find and Keep Love. I jumped the gun and got excited. I thought it was a book about attachments and the science of adult attachments. Didn't know it was about a love book. Very interesting book, very good book. We'll talk about it. I am getting Rosetta Stone. I have avoided my Italian this entire time. I don't know why. Okay, I do know why. I had a Italian journal that I was working on, and I had it with my previous partner at the place that is their place, and when we separated, it's not one of the things that I got back. And for some weird reason, I just don't want to get a new journal and start over. And I just need to get a new journal and start over. And I decided, instead of trying to keep Duolingoing it, and for some reason, I think I'm avoiding the Duolingo because I'm avoiding the feelings. Maybe I'm not ready to deal with that yet. Maybe that's none of your business. I'm gonna try to switch over to Rosetta Stone. Avoid and evade. Whoops. We are going to ignore that one. But on the bright side, I am gonna do that on November 22nd. I am very excited about that. I do like trying to learn Italian. I know Spanish, so it's a little easy to keep. And it's just interesting. And I do have the dream of one day going to Italy. That'd be really cool. Maybe one day, maybe not. The world is changing. I have 2 movies left with my dad, and there's this really cute movie I want to go see. It's about the robot that's a mom to that little baby dog. Yeah. But I don't know if my dad would want to see that. And the movies are supposed to be about him, and like, but it's also about us just spending time together. So maybe it can be a movie that I want to watch, or maybe we can just go more than 6 movies. Drama queen. Ooh. So you know how I said I was gonna run 1,000 miles in a year? Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, we talked about that. Technically speaking, if I calculated it correctly, I should still do that. However, if I calculated it correctly, I might still be able to hit it so that I can hit it for this year of 2024. And it's not that it matters that much to anybody but me that I hit it for this year or that year or any year. But it'll mean something to me, you know? It'll mean something to me to finish out this year and meeting that goal. And maybe it'll kickstart a little something. You know what I mean? I love that goal. I love that goal. And even when I don't meet that goal, looking at the end and looking at how many miles I did do, I'm like, ooh, she did that. Her. So I'm hoping to hit my 1K by the end of 2024. And then hitting my 1K for my year will be nothing. So yeah, we'll see. And then my 2 shoes, I mean, if I'm hitting 1K, nothing. Volunteering, I'm not gonna tell you about volunteering because there's nothing to talk about that, because there's a thing, but there's not a thing because there is no thing, you know what I mean? I'm working on it. I'm gonna be honest with you, with how much I have to do and with how much I'm working, I don't think I'm gonna be able to hit my 50 hours, but a contingency plan. I'm going to try to get people to volunteer with me and make up for the hours that I can't volunteer for. So I hope that is worth the trade and exchange. Please and thank you. And my books, I am technically a book behind. So I read this book, right? It's Attached, The Science of Adults, blah, 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 blah. It was a really good book. Most of the books I've read are really good books. I'm gonna be honest, I look up really good books and then I buy them and then I read them. It was talking about the different attachment styles in adults, specifically in love, and how they intermingle in romantic relationships. As somebody that self-identifies as avoidant based on patterns that I've noticed within myself and my personal behaviors, it was a little difficult to read. You know, this book doesn't say being avoidant is bad or being this is good. I mean, it does say being this is phenomenal. If you are this, you are the superior lover. It practically says that. And when I read that, I was like, but you know, take a look at Champ. But it's not, it is not beyond me that I am not phenomenal when it comes to relationships. Yeah, that one compliments I thought was babe. Yeah, been there, done that. We can talk about relationships another day. That's not what which is funny because that's not what I wanted to talk about, because that's what the book was about. Which I guess we can talk about it. I don't want to be avoidant, but I don't want to talk too much about relationships. I don't know. I don't want to see I want to see where the line is drawn. I've been in 3 long-term relationships. I don't casual date often. I like being single as much as I like being in relationships. Relationships are phenomenal. I love being in love. I love being in love a little too much, if I'm being honest with you. But I also love being single. I love going out with my girls, being single, doing single world things. I really don't like casual dating. And when I date seriously, you know? But when it comes to picking partners, I go based on vibe. If we vibe, we vibe. And flags are beautiful, colorful things. And I like beautiful, colorful things. So, you know. But this was a beautiful thing to read to somebody who goes off vibe and beautiful, colorful things. Because had I read this book before meeting any of my partners. I could have acknowledged where I lack and where I was not right for a lot of these people and where they were not right for me. And where you could have picked up on that throughout the relationship, whether it be very early on or later on in the relationship. That's not the point. I think relationships, you don't try to psychoanalyze them. At least I don't. My biggest focus point when I get in a relationship is enjoying the moment. At least I try to. In the beginning, I'm psychotic. I get anxious. You look at me funny and I'm like, what is she thinking about me? But once I feel secure in a relationship, because that's the thing, I'm very selective when it comes to partnership. It's for me to feel comfortable with you and safe with you, it's like instinctive almost. I either do or I don't. And if I do, and I feel safe with you and comfortable with you, and we choose to explore that romantically, my walls come down, you know? And I'm no longer anxious. Until you make me anxious again, because why would you do that? Just kidding. No, I'm not. But yeah, I think that's all I'm willing to say about relationships. Nothing about past partners. Yada yada yada. Who cares? Nothing about current partners. I ain't got no current partners. Like I said, I don't really like to date. I like to read about dating, apparently. This is very interesting. Never mind. It was funny to me, but maybe it won't be funny to nobody else. But what this book did make me think about was it made me think about the science behind attachment styles. Based on this book, it said that attachment styles couldn't necessarily be pinned down to anything, that they tried to do research on it being traced down to like genetics, being traced down to your childhood, and like I think those are the two things I remember. Read the book. And all these other factors they try to like trace it down to, and that they said that they couldn't find what it like was traced down to. It just, this was what you were, and it had a lot of different factors that attributed to it, but they couldn't pinpoint it. And then on top of that, it was saying that it wasn't your attachment style wasn't like pinpointed to you, that it was malleable, that, you know, it could change. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And then it started talking about how, like, you know, people with secure attachment styles, and girl, I'm gonna run the book for you. Just, girl, read the book, because that's not what I'm gonna talk about attachment styles and how that pertains to my everyday life, because of my avoidant tendencies. Let's not get into that. I was gonna get into something. I don't want to get into it, but I think we had a great conversation. We talked about lovers. I was gonna talk about lovers, but we talked about lovers. I think I avoided talking about what I was going to talk about, but I did talk about what I was going to talk about. But what I came here to talk about is how I'm working on the plan. The plan is going good. Stick it out with me. Let's see where it goes. Talk soon. Where did this conversation go?